That's a grand fire.
Yeah.
Jesus, what was that?
It's probably just the wind. Of course, it could be the wailing of the banshee.
Jesus, why is it they appear again?
Well, every family has their own banshee, and she wails shortly before a family member passes away. It's sort of a warning, they say, and only the immediate family can hear the blood-curdling cry. Ah, I remember now. There was a family called the Boyles from Hacksball Cross. They had only one son.
Anal Boyle. Yeah, I remember him. Wasn't he doing a line with Henrietta McGee, the one from the Hacksballs Cross 24-hour bowl and quasar?
They went out for a couple of years. Then there was a bit of a family indiscretion.
Was he a bit flahoolock with his flute, was he?
Shut up, you scuttering arsehole. Anyway, the two were forced to separate. He was banished to America, she to God knows where. After a couple of years, he was settling nicely into his life in New York.
Oh, that place is a den of disease and promiscuity, where brazen hussies flaunt their silicone-enhanced buttocks and lure you with their bedroom eyes to their high-rise palaces full of PVC, leathers, whips, chains and perverted electrical devices, shouting, I've been a bad boy, Mammy!
Will you calm down? You're as fidgety as a bin liner full of kittens. Anyway, Aidel got a job on the sites. Had a basement flat in the Bronx that he shared with a couple of fellas. One night after their usual game of cards, Aidel went to bed and dreamt of home. There was a woman's face in the dream that he didn't recognise. It unsettled him. The woman began to wail uncontrollably. The wail turned to a high-pitched scream. He woke up and ran from the bedroom with his hands over his ears. His friends were still playing cards. "Oh, can you not hear the screaming?" he shouted at them, but they heard nothing. With the ringing of the phone, the screaming ceased. It was Ainul's mother. "Come home, son. Your father's dropped dead."
It was the banshee warning him about the father's death.
Indeed.
Yep.
Ainul caught the first flight home. After the funeral, he decided to stay on a few more days to look after his mother, who was inconsolable. That night, a similar nightmare creeped into his head, and the screaming woman appeared for the second time.
Jesus!
The blood-curdling wail, twice as loud and twice as painful as before. Oh, he ran downstairs to find his mother, stone-cold dead, with an empty packet of sleeping tablets on the floor beside her.
He must have realised it was the banshee at that stage.
Oh, he did. The banshee's wail was a sound he never wanted to hear again, as he was the last in the Boyle family line.
Jesus. Imagine being warned about your own death and there not being a thing you can do about it.
Oh, he was going to avoid that at all costs. He got as drunk as he could and then took a white-hot poker to his eardrums.
For the love of St. Pamela in a jacuzzi, he burnt his feckin' ears out.
Yep, but he thought it was worth it, never to hear the banshee's spine-chilling screams again. He went back to America deaf as a post.
Yeah?
Over the 15 years that followed, he learnt sign language, lip reading, and managed to live a near-normal life in his silent world. It was New Year's 1990. He went to bed early and started dreaming of home.
Uh-oh.
Then the screaming started.
But he was deaf. All for nothing.
Deaf or not, asleep or awake, you cannot escape the banshee's wail. "You'll not take me, you banshee bitch! My time's not come!" He grabbed a revolver from his bedside locker and ran wildly around his apartment, turning all the lights off. It was then he caught a glimpse of a figure at the front door. "Ah, you'll not take me, banshee!" he shouted above the wailing as he peppered the door with a hail of bullets.
Bang, bang,
The wailing
bang,
stopped. He ran to the front door and pulled it open. And there, lying on the ground, smothered in blood, was a young girl with a suitcase. There was a note in her hand. He read it. His face turned pale as he realised that the little indiscretion all those years ago had produced a daughter.
Oh.
And the banshee's wail was not for him, but for his beautiful little girl.
Well, isn't that gas? And your man after blowing her to smithereens.
At the realisation of his horrible mistake, the wailing started up again. he knew what to do.
Lead sandwich.
Yep. He put the gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. And with that, the Boyle banshee was banished forever.
Jesus, isn't life fierce tragic for some people though altogether?
Ah, it is. Are you going to put the cat out?
Huh? Ah, no. Let's let him burn a little longer.